Hi guys, so I've said before that Brexit was twofold: keeping racists happy by imposing draconian measures on refugees and migrants, and ensuring that the mega rich get away with paying less tax or being able to hide their money more easily. So while Rishi Sunak is determined to keep the latter happy, the Home Secretary Priti Patel wants to keep the former satisfied. We have seen the shambles of a policy when it came to the refugees from Ukraine, and the next policy is even more idiotic. Offshoring is back on the agenda, but instead of sending people seeking help to Albania, it seems Rwanda is the destination that Patel has chosen.
The Prime Minister's estimates this evening are that there could be 1,000 people a day making that journey within weeks, which is why he has just put out a statement which we can bring to you, in which he says that it is plain that will ensure the UK has a world-leading asylum offer, providing generous protection to those directly fleeing the worst of humanity by settling thousands of people every year through safe and legal routes. Our compassion may be infinite, but our capacity to help people is not. The British people voted several times to control our borders, not to close them, but to control them. So Boris Johnson using that language there of controlling our borders, and as part of that plan,
Controlling our borders, the Brexit mantra. That's what Brexit, it seems, was all about, controlling our borders. And I've said before, if you ask your local Brexiteer enough questions, you get back to that point. We don't want immigrants here. We don't want refugees here. We want to control our borders. We don't want to control our borders to goods. We want to control them to people. We don't want people coming in. We want goods coming in. We don't want checks on goods, but we want checks on people.
we can confirm that Priti Patel has landed here in Rwanda to sign a deal which the government are describing as a migration and economic development partnership. But what that really means is that people who do come to the UK, crossing the channel or through illegal means, have the potential to be processed here in Rwanda, taking a flight which is more than 6,000 miles. And just as the news has come in, we've had a number of charities already lining up to criticize those proposals. One charity group called it cruel, and they said that it's also not cost effective. We could be looking at, according to them, a bill of around £1.4 billion to put this scheme together. But it's not just charities and human rights groups who are upset by these proposals. We've also had lots and lots of criticism coming from across the political divide. The Lords have already tabled a number of amendments to this bill. David Davis, another senior Conservative MP, also questioning whether it is both morally and legally justifiable. So we now know that migrants will be processed here in Rwanda, but that is a set of plans which will obviously attract a lot of criticism.
It will, and rightly so. This would be in breach of your United Nations conventions, because under UN conventions, people are should be allowed to arrive in the UK, for example, or arrive in a country and make an asylum application there. They shouldn't be sent to somewhere else. Now, I think what Priti Patel is attempting to do here is pick up people as they arrive. So before they arrive on British soil, in the sea, for example, pick them up as they are crossing the channel and then take them directly to, well, obviously they'll be brought to UK soil where they will not be allowed to make an application, which is, I believe, illegal. They will be put on a plane and sent, or maybe even worse, on a ship, and then sent either directly or indirectly to Rwanda, stopping off somewhere along the way, I imagine. This would be illegal because under UN conventions, people should be allowed to make an asylum claim when they arrive in the country. You would be denying them that. You'll be sending them to another place. Now, UN conventions are conventions. No one can punish Priti Patel if she doesn't respect the law. And we've seen this week how Boris Johnson doesn't respect the law and he doesn't get punished. Okay, there's no means to punish Boris Johnson. He broke the law. It's up to him to resign. Priti Patel would be breaching UN conventions, but there's no penalty for this. We're expecting her to respect these conventions, but she's not going to do that. Now, I don't know whether this is actually going to go ahead or not. Hopefully it won't, but if it does, it's obviously to keep, once again, the racists happy. They want to see her being tough. I don't know if this is her attempt to present herself as a future prime minister or not. I don't know, but it's an attempt to keep the racists who voted for Brexit happy. As we saw in this report, Boris Johnson talking about taking back control of the borders. And it's all been presented also as a policy to punish people traffickers. But this does not punish the people traffickers. It punishes the victims here. It punishes the people who are eventually trying to get to the UK. Because the people traffickers are not getting punished by this. They're still forcing people onto boats. They're still taking cash from people who want to get to the UK. Instead of actually providing real ways for real safe channels for people to get to the UK. Because these people want to go to the UK. They have family there, they speak the language, that's why they don't want to stay in France. It's quite simple. And instead of actually making it easier for them to arrive and to be processed in the UK, they're being shipped off to Rwanda. Out of sight and out of mind. All in order to keep the racists happy, the ones who voted to leave the European Union back in 2016. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.